Boys stars Jacob Tremblay as Max, and him and his two friends Thor and Lucas are in 6th grade, and they're not necessarily the most popular kids in school, so when Max gets invited to a kissing party, he gets his two best friends invited as well, and while they're all so excited to go, this party plans go awry when they eventually lose Max's dad's drone, so they have to spend the whole day trying to get the drone back to make sure that they don't get in trouble so they can make it to this kissing party. And this is in fact produced by Seth Rogen. Sadly, he's not in it, but it's still produced by him, and it does have a lot of that Seth Rogen feel that we get from Superbad or Sausage Party, with very vulgar shock type of humor, especially with Sausage Party, an animated movie where food can talk. This movie is basically 12-year-olds who do vulgar, inappropriate things that usually adults only do. And for the type of humor in this movie, that is what the type of humor in this movie majorly is. It is shock value, it is grotesque, vulgar things of these kids doing adult things. And for most people who love shock value humor like that, this movie does in fact work. I would say I did laugh at some of those types of jokes, but sadly this was actually my least favorite part of the humor aspect of the movie, because on a first viewing, yeah, I would find these things funny, as they are in fact shocking. I feel like on second or repeated viewings that humor from those shocking elements will eventually dwindle away. But luckily this movie does still have a lot of type of humor that I like that will stay with me, whether it's a 6th grader just going through a bunch of girlfriends and how he eventually becomes an emotional wreck, or just 6th graders mocking other 6th graders based on weird illegal things that their parents do. I thought that was hilarious, and that was my type of humor that's in this movie. Yes, it is in this movie, but sadly the movie is focused more on towards shock value type humor. If that's your type of humor, then you're absolutely gonna love this movie. Personally, for me, I did get tired of it after a while, and I eventually started to see more of the flaws in this movie that sadly focused on its narrative, because frankly, the narrative in Good Boys is actually a pretty big issue for me. Now, when I go into a comedy, I'm not expecting something game changer or big. I just want the comedy movie to do its job, make me laugh, and yes, as I said, Good Boys did make me laugh, but sadly I was able to see so much of the flaws in the movie's narrative that actually hurt some of the enjoyment for this movie overall. As I said in the synopsis of the movie, the plot is about these three main boys going to a kissing party, but when they run into losing one of the dad's drones, they have to spend an entire hour of the movie ditching school and going through all these adventures to try to get their drone back to make sure that they don't get grounded. And if it sounds like those two plot ideas aren't really connected, well, that's kind of true. That's my main issue, because those two ideas aren't really connected, and it really took me out of the movie, because I just felt like this was a movie whose plot had to go along and was making it up as it go, because really the conflict of the movie, the kissing party, doesn't really have that big of a conflict, and I feel like this movie easily could have fixed the main conflict of the movie to make the narrative flow better and make it more meaningful and impactful for at least me. Because this whole drone side plot to the movie doesn't have any real effect to the kissing party part. Yes, the kids will get in trouble if they don't get the drone back, but really it's only Max who would get in trouble. The other two kids wouldn't really get into that much trouble. So I feel like the movie easily could have been fixed if they just made the drone essential to the party. Max could have said he was bringing the drone to impress a girl. Thor could have said he's bringing Max's drone to impress the cool guys at the party. So at least the two boys would have their own individual motivations, while the three of them would have the same end goal, and all three of them would still go through the same character beats, because I honestly love the relationship of the characters and the message that this movie had. What was shocking to me enough in Good Boys is that it dealt with the truth of friendships, that sometimes it may not all last, sometimes friends grow apart, but if you're really truly friends, no matter what happens in your individual lives, they can always come back and be the best of friends. I absolutely love that story and that message, and that message is clearly in this movie, and even if you fix some of the plot elements to make the narrative more cohesive, you still would have had those same exact character beats, which was probably my favorite element of the movie. I think it was also helped that the three main characters had really good relationships with each other, and also helped that as 12-year-old actors, they all had pretty good performances. The movie didn't fall, especially in their main three characters, to have bad kid acting. Some movies, especially when they depend on kids, the acting just isn't that good. The main three kids, especially Jacob Tremblay, I just love Jacob Tremblay. He is a great actor, and he's also just adorable. All three of them, you could tell that they had a great time filming this movie, and they were all truly friends, and you bought their friendship. And for a majority of the other 12-year-olds in this movie, they do a pretty good job at acting. There's always one or two lines that the kids may say that either sound fake or even robotic, but you know what? Not every 12-year-old is going to be the best actor ever, so overall, the kid acting is pretty good in this movie. If you want to go to this movie specifically for the laughs, I don't think you'll be disappointed, because this is a very funny movie. It had a lot of type of humor that I liked, and I did like some of the shock value humor in this movie. I just don't think that shock value humor will work on repeated viewings, but if you're into shock value humor, I bet you that this movie will be perfect for you. I do love the characters and the message that this movie had. I just do think that the narrative overall wasn't as cohesive and really tampered my personal enjoyment for this movie overall. As an experience, I do think that this movie is a lot of fun, especially if you go with friends, but as a movie itself, I do see its flaws, especially in its narrative, so I can say that Good Boys is just a fine movie. So that's Good Boys. What do you guys think? Have you seen the movie? Have you not seen the movie? Whatever you think, put the comments below and maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. Thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't, you can click my last video right over here, and you can click my upcoming video right over here, which will happen sometime soon because I am going back to school, so who knows when I'll make another review. Thank you as always for watching, and hope to see you next time.